This video is going to cover the best practices for your main images on Amazon FBA. In particular, we're going to cover how great images can increase your sales, some good and bad examples, and how to get those images created. For that, I've put together an image guide which talks you through the specifics of the images and how to add those to your Seller Central account. So check that out for some more detailed information on how to do that. First thing I want to do is go over to a good example. And as you'd expect, Apple have some fantastic imagery. So I'm going to talk you through each of those and how they may lead to an increase in sales. So the first image type is your main image, which is essentially a clear image of your product on a white background. Now, if you don't have it on a white background and it's not at the right resolution, it's not going to get approved by Amazon. So it needs to be very high quality. And that will also encourage people to actually click on your listing and have a look through your other images and the rest of your description and hopefully lead on to more sales. So it's very important to have high quality images, specifically in the main image, because you're going to get more people clicking on your product, checking out your listing and hopefully buying. The next type of image to include is an infographic, which is essentially another image of the product, but with a little bit of information to call out the most important features. So I know M2 is a new product for Apple. This is this year's MacBook, so it's something that they clearly want to call to the customer's attention to encourage them to buy. And we know Apple are going to have a lot of information on their customers, so they will be including the most relevant and important parts in their imagery. Another reason why it's important to have infographics is a lot of people will read through the description and they will find out all the specific details, but almost everybody is going to go through the images and they're going to check all of those out. They're perhaps just going to flick through, scroll through, and hopefully read about the most important parts as well. So what you want to include is the key information about your product. As you can see, Apple are including the screen size here because that's something that almost everybody that's really going to buy this product wants to know. The next image that they've included is more of a lifestyle image. So somebody on Zoom or FaceTime or Skype, something like that, which is a key feature for most Apple users are going to be using video. So it's just showing how the actual product will be used. And alongside that lifestyle image, they've actually used a bit of information as well, talking about the particular part that they're using here. So audio, FaceTime, and the quality of the mic. So they're doing a great job there by showing how the product can actually be used and providing some information on it as well. Here's another lifestyle image which just shows how the product's being used. And I appreciate that Apple is a very well-known brand, but we don't really have the privilege of having that. So we need to make it very clear to our customers what the product is, how it can be used, and what type of person may buy it perhaps. The last image that they've included is actually what's in the box. Again, just making it very clear to the customer what's included and why they should buy. So they've covered the fact that you get the power adapter and the cord included. That is a 15-inch MacBook, which is just the most important information about the product. So that's all been called out in all of the images, are very bright, they're high quality, and it's clear exactly what you're going to get whilst calling attention to the most important aspects of the product. The last thing they've included, which we're not going to touch on in too much detail in this video, is their product video, which is a very important thing to include. It really will help increase your sales, and the specifics of what type of videos to include and the details of those have been added to the image guide. As you can see here, video requirements. If you click that link, Amazon will actually show you what type of image or video and the specifics of what can be included in a video. So we're just going to stick to the images for the remainder of this one. Before I move on to a bad example, I just want to scroll down this listing and show you their A+ content, so the images that have been included here. And whilst we're not going to discuss the differences and the types of A+ content, I just want to bring your attention to how good their images is and the amount of information that they've actually used up on the listing. So a nice, clear, bright image and some more information about the product. But what they've done really, really well here is they've provided so much information about the product that you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's almost endless. They're providing really clear images and some simple information that you would like to know about the product. So, for example, this one, they've highlighted the fact that it's got Touch ID in an image as well as in some text. So some people like to read, some people like to look at the images. It's very important that you call attention to both. And as I said, we're going to see the difference in a poor image in a moment, or a poor listing in a minute. But this one, they just keep scrolling down and it's just more and more information about the product and some more clear images. And you have to go a very long way before you reach any competition. So more information about the accessories, the Apple Care, comparison to the other products, and some technical information. I know this is moving away from the images, but it's just very important to show you that it takes you so much scrolling before you hit any competition. So they've really taken up as much of the listing as they can, and you're more likely to buy their product purely through the quality of the images and the amount of information that they're displaying in them. Whereas this is a bad example with another laptop, and as you can see here, on the face of it, they're doing quite a good job. They've got 7 images, but if you scroll through them, they're just standard product images of the laptop. There's no infographics, there's no information, there's no lifestyle image. It's nowhere near as enticing when you scroll through these boring images. When you compare that to a good example, the quality of these images, it's so clear to the customer exactly what they're getting and perhaps why they should buy. As I said in the last example, they provide so many images and such great information that you keep scrolling down before you hit the competition. Whereas on this one, they're not doing that. They don't have any A+ content. They don't have any other images. And all it takes is a couple of scrolls and you're on another competitor's listing. So instead of buying your product, if this was you, they're checking out your competition within one scroll of the mouse. So the more images you can include, the higher quality images, the more space you can take up, the more sales you're going to make. Otherwise, they're just going to go across your competition and buy their products instead. Here's another bad example of another laptop. While they've got a bit of information on the screen there, again, it's just product images. There's no infographics, there's no information, and everybody knows what a laptop looks like. We don't need to have a look at it from all these different angles. It'd be great if they could include some more information about the product for those that are going to click on them. And you may even go through like this, so you don't even have access to the product description. You're just going through the images like this. Okay, so there's a couple of bad examples, and whilst I appreciate Apple is a very big brand and we don't have, everything, all the sort of information in the images they have available, this is a high-tech product, so it needs all of that information. I'm going to show you a simple product and how they've done a great job to include images to sell their product. So water bottles doesn't get much more boring and simple than that. You would think most people know what a water bottle is and how it can be used, but this company have done a great job here by providing really bright, enticing images. Almost makes you want to buy it just by scrolling through these images. But at the same time, they've provided some very clear information about it. Also includes a bottle cleaner, straw cleaner, and just having a look through their first 3 image, you can see the clear selling points, like it's one click open, it's got a carry strap, all these things that our customers are going to want to know. And I would bet, without looking at it, they've got some good A+ content as well. If we were to scroll down, look, fantastic imagery. It just really calls attention to the most important parts of the listing. It's really bright and clear, and it encourages you to buy. So, again, it's just providing some clear information without overwhelming the customer. Some very clear information about the product. So it's dishwasher safe. A lot of people are going to want to know that, and they're more encouraged to go and buy by providing some simple information. How much water does it store? 32 ounces. Now I'm going to show you a bad example, which is actually by Camelback, which is a big company, so you'd think they would have done a better job, really. But just scrolling through the main images, they got 1, 2, 3, 4 just boring images of this product. It doesn't really encourage you to buy. They've got a lifestyle image here, which doesn't actually match certainly that color. And then I don't know what this is. I don't know what that's doing. So, they're not doing much to encourage you to buy. And I appreciate water bottles are quite simple, so it may be that you just want a simple water bottle and you're happy to buy that. But this is just an example of, a really good example. It's just so much more enticing when there's a lot of competition on Amazon. You really need to be doing as much as you can to actually entice them to buy through your imagery. And whilst they have a description here, as I said before, a lot of people, all they will do, certainly for a simple product like this, they'll just check out the images. They won't even read the description. It's very important to include the description and optimize that and the title. But a lot of people, almost everybody, will check out all of the images. So that's why it's important to have all the different image types. As you'll see in the guide, here are the different types of images you can use. have a look at the good examples here and how they've used the infographics to actually entice their customers to buy. Now, in terms of actually getting these images created, to get to this standard of image can be quite difficult. You could try to do it yourself. If you've got a photographer, it may be costly, or you can try services like Fiverr, and they could add infographics to existing images, obviously at a cost, and I don't know what the quality of those are going to be. Alternatively, if you wanted to work with Mr. Prime, then we have an expert service on actually adding infographics and creating your images to be in line with these best practices, as I've discussed in this video. So reach out to us if you need those images, or if you just want to work through it yourself. Make sure you include a variety of clear product images, some infographics, and some lifestyle images to really encourage your customers to buy. And I just want to impress upon you one more time that images are so important, and the higher quality images you can create, the more sales you will make. There's no doubt about it. It's been proven. A lot of people everybody's going to look at the image, but not everybody's going to read through the details of your listing. So spend a lot of your time focused on the images. That's why I've included it in as the first video in this course, or what you're watching now. Just make sure you really have high quality images before you worry about the other parts of your listing. And you can continue to work over these over time. If you perhaps have 3 or 4 images that you really like and these ones are not so good, just keep working on them and improving the quality of your images over time. All right, thanks for watching. That's your image guide, and just remember, check out the written guide here if you need some more information.